Hey, today we're gonna do a little bit of recap this week with Raw. We're gonna be talking about the Shield, new tag team champs, and Drew and Dolph, Taker and Shawn Michaels, a little bit of KO action as well. We'll go into SmackDown Live. Some points there. Talk about Daniel Bryan, Brie Bella, and versus the Miz, the couple, AJ and Joe, Flair, Becky, Rusev Day, good times. A little bit of 205 action, or excuse me, not 205, NXT action, and then hopefully Marty can give us some updates all in and see how he's been going there. I know we're all catching up from a busy Labor Day weekend, so thanks for tuning in with me, and we'll get things going right now.
Getting ready to seize your first opportunity to come into the ring and start grandstanding and hot dogging, yeah!
I can't help it that I look good, smell good, woo, can dance all night long.
When we speak, our voices are heard. We all say, I bring it.
Welcome to the hottest wrestling talk on the internet today. Welcome to Malice Smack Talk. I am your host, Masonic Vader. With me, as always, is Marty.
Let's do this.
And Mind Freak.
For real?
Okay, I guess we're on hold, guys. Way to
go, Saxton.
Yeah, he just pulled a Saxton.
You just pulled like a Corey Graves. Just about to you know what? I got to take this call real quick.
I don't know if he hears us.
Wow, that's,
If you're watching,
it's kind of like when the Miz's radio or his mic goes blank. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, this is a new for us, guys. I think we might actually just have the pleasant, sultry picture of Mind Freak, but no voice.
I'm back.
Dang it!
I've been having communications error, but I'm back. We're here. We're ready to rock and roll. Break some hearts.
Well, unfortunately, we just lost the 3 viewers that were checking us out for a minute. All right, cool. We're moving on. Well, welcome to the show, guys. Through all of our technical difficulties, we are here, and we're here getting into our wrestling talk. Thanks for joining us tonight. Of course, before we get started, I want to make sure we give a quick shout-out to our parent host, Malice Corp. Malice-Corp are the people that bring us to you weekly. Great cast, great channel. You can find them live on Friday nights at 8 p.m. Twitch. That's going to be our main podcast, Twitch TV. And, of course, you can check out the YouTube site as well, where they have all of our old episodes, plus many of the other episodes through Quest for 100 and Comics for All. So thank you very much to Malice Corp for hosting us again tonight. So as we talked about the precast, we're going to be rolling through what happened this week and some of the top stories of the week in wrestling. We're going to start off with, like how we always do with Raw and SmackDown. We'll jump right into Raw. So this week was a pretty interesting week. I enjoyed the show. I actually got to watch all 3 hours of it, which was nice. Some of the highlights and takeaways. The first one I want to start off with is actually the Tag Team Championships.
So I want to kind of stop on that real quick and get that towards the end, so that kind of rolls into the big storyline there.
Oh, okay. We'll hold off. Man, I was excited about that, dude. Okay.
Oh, I'm
all right.
That's why we need to bring that to the
end. Same here. But
yeah, man.
Leave it.
Start this off with a little.
All right, so we'll start with Shield then. Let's go to Shield. We got a nice little. What's that?
No, go ahead.
We got the Shield. Yeah, the Shield's coming in. We've got a nice little triple tandem of Shield versus now Braun, Dolph, and Drew. And we were talking about this last week. I have to probably eat some crow on here, where I didn't think they were going to try to make Braun Strowman go heel, but man, it does look like they are going to go that role, and you kind of see the fans biting on it a little bit, not fully though. They're still. I think that's the good thing about wrestling now.
I think what you got here. So here, when you look at it too, we have everyone who hates on Roman, everyone who loves Braun, and then you put Roman with the Shield. Everybody loves the Shield, so they're cheering Roman. Now, everyone's been cheering or booing Dolph and Drew McIntyre. So when you add Braun into the mix, they're booing him by association the same way they're cheering for Roman by association. So I think that's what we're getting positive right here. And I'm down for both, because one, those who hate and boo Roman need to get the hell out of here and get a life. But the fact that Braun is getting booed this storyline is fantastic because I think we're also seeing a true monster with him as this role as the leader of this little faction they got going.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it pulls out. I kind of foreshadow and see eventually maybe Drew and Ziggler going heel on, like turning on them eventually when they get what they want. But the start
Super
of it's
heels.
pretty. Yeah. The start of it's good. I like the fact that they are bringing Braun into a different angle. I just hope they don't pull away from the monster. Like I hope they don't make him a mic man. I want him to still beat the snot out of people. He did a lot of talking this week, not much fighting. Well, at least in the initial part of it, yeah.
Well, see, my only fear is if you do it that way, then I'm all for Braun beating people up, but then again, I necessarily don't want him to fall back into like a Wyatt family kind of persona where he's just there just to beat people up kind of thing. So I'm happy that he is doing some mic skills and doing stuff like that. That'd be my only fear if they went that route with it, but it doesn't look like they are.
I really hope they let him take the championship from Roman, especially Hell in a Cell, because I do think, and it's nothing against Roman at all. I don't care if Roman keeps it or not, but I mean, they build up so much. They built so much with Braun. I mean, remember, this guy comes in, he's part of the Wyatt family, he breaks away. He actually is able to go from what should have been a heel to a straight, I don't want to call it face turn, but just everyone loved the fact that Braun Strowman was just kicking the crap out of people, get these hands, teaming up with Bliss during the Facebook challenge and stuff. Like, everything was going really good, and they built this up to where this guy is just now one of their top stars. And then they team him up with Ziggler and Drew, and I don't want it to make his star fade. And I'm hoping that they do give him the championship and him and Roman fight it out for a little bit, because I do think he's kind of earned that chance to carry a strap.
I think that this is going to be a storyline that goes for a while, and I'm okay with Braun taking the strap off of Roman. I don't want it happening right away. I can see this going all the way down to SummerSlam or Survivor Series. And the fact that we're getting, and we'll get into it in a little bit, this heel faction, who knows how big this can get, and who knows, what kind of assistance that the Shield's going to get. This could essentially end up being a Raw Survivor Series type match. And I think that would be a good time for Roman to lose the belt to Braun. If you lose it right now, he's had the belt at this point would be, a month at the time he loses the belt at Hell in a Cell, if that's the case. And we're going to go 2 years or a year and a half with the belt not switching hands to switching in quickly within a month. I think it just makes no sense. I think they need to make some shorter terms with this belt and sort of reigns, but not like that quickly. And I think it needs to come out a little bit longer and stretch this little short reign that he may have before Braun takes the belt from him.
Otherwise, and I agree with you. Otherwise, we're going to get a Sasha and Charlotte thing all over again, where they're dropping the belt every pay-per-view. Before you know it, Roman's a 6-time title holder, and the year's not even over yet.
Well, yeah, you have to remember, WWE has had it in the past, especially when you had like Cena, Triple H, Randy. Those guys were dropping belts quite quickly. I mean, so it's not like WWE hasn't done that before. I don't know if that's. I mean, I could see. But
you also have to take into consideration who is dropping the belts too. You just mentioned it. Cena, Triple H, Randy. I mean, they're all well-established superstars. So that if they drop the belt that quickly, it's not going to hurt their persona or anything like that. But with Brock having the belt for 2 years, just like Marty said, for Roman to lose it a month after, it would just be bad.
I'll tell you why. In a minute when we get to one of the other storylines we're going to talk about for Raw, I'll tell you why Roman's not going to lose that belt at Hell in a Cell. But he can't lose his belt right away.
Yeah, and
I think I know where you're going with it too, and I agree.
Yeah, and I don't want to sit there and say I want him to lose it Hell in a Cell. I agree. I don't like the belts turning. I'm totally with Mind Freak of saying I'm tired of seeing the women's championship belt turning every 2 months, and now you've got Sasha and Charlotte and they all have like 6 runs apiece, and they've only been in the WWE now for 2 years. So I don't want that. But I don't want them also just, dimming Braun Strowman's light. There was a lot of buildup on this. I like his character. It's one of the first few big men in a while that's been able to go over and not just look ridiculous. Like, when he loses a match, it makes sense why he lost the match. I mean, when you see Rey Mysterio beat the Big Show, You're like, come on, dude. In real life, this ain't gonna happen. Big Show's gonna squash him. So it doesn't look believable. It's just going by what the WWE wants to build up a fan base. So with Braun Strowman right now, they've got him in such a great spot that not only is he a believable persona, a believable character, people like cheering for him. I just don't want him being faded back a little bit because he's part of a three-person heel. You know,
I don't think he's going to either. I mean, if you look at it, he's the muscle. He uses the mic. He's obviously going to be using the mic probably more than Drew McIntyre. But when it comes down to the three of them, obviously Ziggler's the man on the mic when it comes down to the three of them, and it should be because he is the most experienced and he is probably the better of the three on the mic. Ziggler, to be honest, is probably one of the best on the mic in the roster and always has been. But I think this character and this turn might actually elevate Braun to an entirely different level than he would have ever gotten to as a full-blown face. And I think I'm interested to see what they do with this.
absolutely, yeah. I look forward to seeing this connection. I just don't want WWE to F it up, man. I ain't gonna lie. I don't want him to F it up. Braun Strowman's been one, like I said, I'm a big fan of the big guys when it comes to wrestling. I think that's something that it's been lacking over the last couple of years where you haven't had a true athletic big guy who could just dominate. And when he walks out, everyone just knows something just bad is going to happen.
Well,
and
we
gotta
have
that.
He only shows up once every 4 months. So.
Oh, wait, you mean the guy who used to hold the belt?
You mean, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, you mean the guy who had 8-minute matches? Come on, dude. There was no intimidation with that. There was no intimidation with that.
There was a 3-minute match in there.
That's true. That's true.
Also a 50-year-old man.
Yes. So I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a great rivalry, and like you said earlier, I think that's exactly what they're going to be doing. This is going to be running through Survivor Series. This will probably be the anchor or the core of a traditional Survivor match with adding a couple extra guys to it.
So to go with it, I mean, you just mentioned adding guys to it. Probably the biggest thing that happened. I mean, we got them pulled off. There was a mix up. They mixed it up a little bit in the ring, and then all of a sudden, Baron Corbin pulls out the roster, and at this point, the entire roster comes out. Doesn't matter.
They brought some 205 out, man.
Exactly. Didn't matter if you were mid-level. Didn't matter if you were a main event superstar wrestler. Doesn't matter if you were 205. It doesn't matter. Everybody emptied their ring to come out there and separate the Shield and Braun, Dolph, and Drew McIntyre, which I didn't make sense. The whole them going to jail and then the other three staying behind didn't make sense to me. It was like, that's bullshit. First of all, it's not going to happen. I dropped that. But
that was straight from the 90s, man. That was Attitude Era right there, buddy.
But then they come back, and you obviously know they're going to come back. It's just the way that WWE writing is, and it always has been. They come back, and then all of a sudden, more guys come out, but not the entire roster. Only all the guys who they considered heel on the roster came out. And so my thought is, do we have a super heel faction organization going together, and Braun, Dolph, and Drew McIntyre are going to run this league? I mean, if you look at it, AOP was on there, Ascension, Drew McIntyre, Drew
Gulak.
Who else was on there?
KO
was there. Oh yeah, that KO came back. But there was just every guy that you consider a heel. Even Elias was out there too, and that surprised me. So and they all at the end they just laid them all out as if they were just sacrificing them to the gods or whatever it may be. And all these guys, with the exception of Dolph, Drew, and Braun, who stood in the rings above everybody else, all these other heels stood around them, just surrounded these bodies while they laid lifeless, so to speak, on the floor.
So,
wait,
not totally lifeless, because one of the memes that came out this week was when Roman Reigns was reaching out to Dean Ambrose, like, "Oh, my heart!" Oh, it was great, man. Sorry, my friend, go for it, dude.
Well, I was going to say, I noticed that too. With the way that they're going to be setting up, we could be setting up like a Raw Survivor Series match. And the way I see it is all this stuff's happening right now. Kurt Angle's gone, so I could see maybe like a team up like last year, the Shield, Kurt Angle, and say one other person versus like Baron Corbin, and then
Finn Balor.
Ziggler.
Finn Balor.
yeah, easily throw Finn Balor in the mix, but like on that team, but then like against like Baron Corbin, Braun, Drew, and Dolph. and then like one other person. I'm just saying. I mean that you could do it that way too. I mean, there's so much stuff you could do with how they're doing this.
Yeah, we still got we still got to get through Hell in a Cell. And,
so I mean, just to throw it out there, I'm doing my prediction now, and this is going to be out 2 months ahead of time. And you mentioned the names already. So we're going to end up having that Survivor Series match. It's going to be the Shield, Finn, and Angle versus Braun, Dolph, Drew McIntyre, Corbin, and KO. That's going to be the 5-on-5 you watch.
I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be KO. I don't think it'll be KO.
You shut your mouth, Saxton.
Okay. So why would you put KO on a team when he just, last week said I quit because of everything that Braun's done to him and all this stuff? Why are you going to put him on the team with Braun?
Why? Because besides those three guys, he is the biggest heel on the Raw roster.
And plus he's gonna be kissing up the Baron Corbin for the next month and a half. That's what's gonna happen.
Him and Corbin are essentially the authority figures because they're the ones that have constant contact with Stephanie McMahon. Besides, we have 2 months to go, so who knows how that's going to roll out. But by then, Kevin Owens could be Braun Strowman's right-hand man.
I've already expressed my feelings with this Corbin crap. This is Woosa.
So
Yeah.
Let's get into Santi.
So we go from there. Do we want to take on the championship? We know that KO came back, so like we didn't. We already said it. It's not like I didn't expect him to come back so quick.
Right.
So I don't know.
I wasn't expecting to come out for Bobby Lashley of all people. But
I know.
This, I'm getting tired of the WWE making these things where you start talking about them and getting interested and kind of falling into it and getting engaged and wondering what's going to happen. And you're like, this is going to happen. This could be a time off thing or weeks on end, maybe a month from now, and all of a sudden the week after, he's back again. Like, really? How was all that for then?
I wish that works in real life, man. I wish I could quit today and then be back tomorrow. That'd be awesome. That would be totally cool. That'd be great, man.
For a big holiday and miss the holiday and then come back the week after. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, I'm gonna quit because I have to work on Saturday, but I'll be back on Monday. So I don't want to jump into the tag team champion yet because I think that's something we should talk about really quick, a little bit longer. I think we should jump into that Taker Shawn. Now once again, this is me, I guess. Just saying, this is just. This week it's Shawn Michaels. Next week it's Mick Foley. Like I thought the Undertaker retirement run was last year, and this is almost seems like what it is, a rehashing Undertaker retirement run to where his final match is going to be with Triple H at this show down in freaking Australia. I know, but man, don't you get that vibe? You have Shawn Michaels. Yeah, you have Shawn Michaels come out, talk about, well, I've fought them both, and I'm going to tell you Triple H is the cerebral assassin, and then lo and behold, Undertaker shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah, but at the same time, that was all. I'm not gonna. I loved it. The fact that we knew Shawn was going to be there, and you look for each time HBK comes out in the WWE in a ring match, doesn't matter whatever his involvement is. It's awesome seeing Shawn Michaels there. HBK was one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I love the character. He's one of the best. My only thing is that when he comes back the last few times, it's always to promote something.
Yep.
It comes off very promote-y.
It is.
And it doesn't. I hate it because it makes Shawn Michaels seem like he is just a corporate stooge coming out to just do this real quick. He's being paid to be there. He's going to give his promotion and then bail and go again. And that's what this first half started. And then it just dong. And the gong went off, and the smoke rose, and Undertaker walked out. And I didn't see anything. I tried to stay away from him in the first place, but I didn't see nothing about Undertaker being anywhere around, him even expected or even rumored to be there. So that, for me, was a surprise. And that's what we've talked about this before. That surprise that just happened when someone's music goes off has been missing. And I'm glad it went off and it happened because we were not expecting that. But what I liked about it was that we get him in the ring with Shawn Michaels, and then it was from a promotion, sell something, commercial promo to an actual promo. And the promo the two of them had was fantastic. But you talk about how this is leading towards and lining up for a last match ever and a retire match against Triple H. I don't think so. I think this is leading something further and going towards something more of Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. How they turned from Hunter and Undertaker at Melbourne to I stayed retired because of you. And you're basically saying you're not saying retired. You're not holding true to your word, even though he's never really said he's retiring. But I beat you. You beat me twice. It became about Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, not Undertaker versus Triple H. And I think this is going to be something further. And it may only lead to maybe, HBK becoming maybe the special enforcer or the special guest referee at Melbourne. I don't know. That'd be cool to see. But I think that something's going to go further in a storyline between Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. And I think we might end up seeing Shawn Michaels back in the ring pretty soon.
Marty, get in there, buddy.
He was.
I'm sorry, Mind Freak. Sorry, dude. Mind Freak, get in there.
I was thinking the same thing. Same thing. Growing up, Attitude Era, Kid, DX, Undertaker, all of it, and just seeing them both in the ring, it not only was it awesome, it was nostalgia. I'm a little kid. I'm 8, 9 years old, just sitting there watching it with my dad after school. At night, just hanging out. But to Marty's point, just the fact, I quit. I didn't step in the ring. I don't wrestle out of respect for you. This, that, and then Undertaker's as a respect or as a fear? Pretty much just boom, just it's no. This is respect. It's because you're scared. You know that I will put you down. I'm gonna put Triple H down again, kind of thing. So. I agree with Marty in the sense that this could lead to something between them later on down the road, but time will tell. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, and this is, I get it. I like to see those nostalgia kind of things, but this is one of the reasons why I did not like WCW during the the Monday Night Wars or as it moved forward. And this is something I hope that WWE doesn't start trending toward right now, and get away from it. I don't want to see these old guys keep coming back. I don't want to see Hogan come back and get in the ring. I don't want to see Undertaker get back in the ring. You know why? Because Undertaker does not wrestle like Undertaker does. Okay, it's starting to feel like how it was at the end of Andre the Giant's career. To where if you go back and watch that 30 for 30, because that's me growing up, Andre the Giant's wrestling in WrestleMania 3, barely keeping himself up, holding on to the ropes all the time, and it just sucked to watch Andre the Giant go out that way. And when you see these guys come back after not wrestling as much, you could definitely see that they're not like what they used to be. And that's the part that, I mentioned this last week, where it's I'm not interested in Triple H versus Undertaker. You know why? Because they haven't been on TV for the last year and a half wrestling. I'm more interested in the guys who are wrestling now, who are carrying the flagship. I don't even care about having Cena come back right now, because Cena's already gone off and done his thing where he's in the movies now, and he's he's pushing his TV career. He'll probably come back. It's going to be a bore. I would love to see Stone Cold Steve Austin come back because you haven't seen him forever, but at the same time, he's not going to come back because he's injured. To keep having people like Undertaker, Triple H, trying to bring Shawn Michaels looks wore out.
Well, you also have to realize, too, it's not necessarily it is. It's the same situation as the Greatest Royal Rumble. They're doing it in a place they haven't done it before. They're trying to get as many fans into it. And what's one way to do it? Boom, Undertaker, Triple H.
Right, and
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because I want to see it.
And it's not really them, bringing these guys in to bring tickets. I think it also goes along the lines of, this is an area we've never been in. We're going to give them what they want. We're going to give them those guys they never got to see, who can still perform and people still want to see. And when you look at it, you can't. Yeah, we're going to. You want to see the guys who are running the division and the brands and the rosters and those guys who are showcased week in, week out. But that's why we have our regular monthly programming and our pay-per-views. This is not one of those. This is a one-off, so to speak, second off, because it happened again. But they're doing these special events. throughout the year now, which I think is pretty cool because it gives us opportunity to where they can have these different kind of fantasy matches or different matches that we're not seeing on the regular card, that we're not seeing on the pay-per-views, that we're not seeing Monday or Tuesday nights. This is stuff that we're seeing that's just different storylines. Why else we're going to get, I think I saw that one of the lineups for the match is like Kevin Owens versus John Cena in a tag team match or whatever it may be. We're seeing different matches that we're not normally seeing. And
then we're also seeing the Bella Twins team with Ronda against the Rat Squad.
Right, and and some of these may have some storyline to them. I mean, obviously, if some of them are, you're not going to have, you're not going to have Braun and Roman tag team together to fight somebody else just to have them happen. But you got some different stuff going on that it just takes it away from a different kind of pay-per-view.
Well, and you know what? I'm glad someone brought up like Brie Bella and whatnot, because this is the part I'm concerned with. Brie Bella comes back and wrestles on Monday night. And let's be perfectly frank. There was 2 big parts of that she totally bombed on. Totally looked like crud. She goes diving out of the ropes on one side, totally messes it up, dives out of the other one, doesn't even hit the person, and the other 2 people have to kind of make it look like she hit, even though the camera angle clearly showed she hit nothing but their ankles. So that's my concern, man. You're bringing these guys back in who are not wrestling night in and night off. I don't even think they're even hitting house shows to kind of get their rust off. And you're just going to throw them on a big pay-per-view. I don't want to see Undertaker at age 60 trying to wrestle Triple H, who's now more of your COO. He's still active, but this isn't Triple H from freaking 10 years ago. This isn't Undertaker from 10 years ago. To the person, I don't want to see those guys on the way out the door. It's like watching all your professional athletes from before who are trying to continue to wrestle or try to continue to throw that last perfect pitch or to play that last perfect football game, and you can just see that they're just worn out beyond belief, and it's not them. That's what I'm concerned about. And I could see Triple H still doing it. He still gets in the ring. He's still in good shape. He's not as old. I get that. Undertaker's a whole different thing. He looks like he's in great shape, but I mean, you're not as good as you used to be because they're breaking you out of the plastic once a year. I mean, that's the concern I have. I don't want my image of Undertaker coming out with the bells tolling and then everyone's freaking out, and then what's going to happen, and it's awesome, and then you get the freaking Brock Lesnar winning it, and you're like, holy crap, that's like that was the spot. Now you're just dragging it at this point. I really just want Undertaker to be able to go to the side, get into the Hall of Fame, go from there. And it's just kind of delaying it. That's what I want. And next week you're going to have Mick Foley coming out. So Mick Foley's going to come out. What's going to happen?
We have Triple H coming out next week too. Triple H is going to be there also with his.
Yeah, I mean, well, that makes sense because he's wrestling in a match, so he might as well show up at one point or another to talk about it. So I don't know. I'm hoping it ends up being good, but at the same time,
here's the thing. What if this ends up being like? So obviously, when the whole Cena and Taker thing at WrestleMania happens, I think that was a little premature. For that to happen. I think that was kind of like that, and the reason why it went the way it did was maybe because they weren't fully sure on what Taker could do. What if Taker comes out? He's had that surgery. He's already going to be over a year removed from his surgery. He's been training. He's been doing active stuff. What if Taker comes out with Triple H and has a great, not like a world amazing 5-star match, but has an actual great match? Is that going to tarnish anything? Is that going to change your mind about him coming out and having his one-off matches? Maybe he shows up and has these great matches, for what he can do at these times.
To me, like if his matches are great, if they're good, great and everything. But
and I'm not talking like these 2-minute, 45-second.
No, yeah, I got you. I throw it out like this. I almost compare it to when Ric Flair was with Evolution. You got a match every once in a while, but every time you saw him wrestle, it was just rough to watch.
Yeah, but Ric Flair, when he was wrestling Evolution, and even after that, was just like, dude, he was beyond that. I don't want to see you in the ring anymore. I don't think Taker's quite there yet. I think he must get close to it.
But see, that's what I don't want though. That's exactly my point. I don't want to see Ric Flair with Evolution.
Here's the biggest point you're missing though too. Look how long he's been doing this. Look how long this rivalry with Triple H goes. Those two know each other and they're comfortable working with each other, that they are going to put on a great match no matter what.
Is it a rivalry though? up until they announced the match, when was the last time you thought, God, I'd really like to see Triple H fight Undertaker?
It's not a rivalry, and they've had some great WrestleMania matches. When they went
Absolutely
back. But if you look at the entire time when they first started, in the '90s when they were, when it was kind of pre-Attitude Era, there was a rivalry there because you had the Corporation, you had DX, you had the two of them going against you head to head the entire time. But then you get to the 2000s and you have Hunter who's on Raw and you have Taker who's on SmackDown. And after The Rock left, Taker became SmackDown. That's who he was. And
absolutely.
Off to Cena. So that rivalry wasn't there because they were on those different brands.
Yeah,
but they do have a history together.
They have a history, but think of it like this, man. We got this big one-time event that's never happened before, and I don't know. I'm used to the whole there's a setup to it. So all of a sudden they announced this this pay-per-view down in Australia, and then all of a sudden the headline match is Undertaker versus Triple H. Like, seriously? Undertaker hasn't been on TV.
But here's the thing. It's going back to Marty. It's a place in the world that they haven't been. You're going to give them a match that they want to see.
They've been to Australia many times before.
Not only that, but he hasn't been on TV, but Taker's been wrestling house shows all summer long.
It's just once again, it's one of those things where it's just out of the blue, and they've been to Australia many times before. Yeah, this is just the first pay-per-view they're going to be doing from Australia. Yeah. So I get it. I just, like I said, there was no setup to this. There was just all of a sudden there's a pay-per-view, and then
to be a setup for a pay-per-view as big as it, and they're hyping up this one match, yes, because all the other superstars and matches, they're hyping up for the Evolution and they're hyping up for Hell in a Cell. So you're not going to talk about all these other guys because you don't know what's going to happen in Hell in a Cell. So how can you build up these storylines that are happening afterwards if they're not even going to happen yet? So the one match that's a constant, that's going to happen, has nothing to determining by what's going on in these next two pay-per-views, is a Taker Triple H match.
Exactly.
All right. Well, it's not like I'm not going to watch it. It's not like I'm going to protest. Oh, hell no. I don't want to see Old Man River versus Woman Man River. I have no idea. I'm going to watch it. I just don't want it to get to a point where we talk about the following week and be like, man, Brie Bella jumping through the ropes and totally missing. That's what I don't want, dude. Because that was horrible.
Let's be honest. We're never going to see that on Taker. The only way we'll see is Taker falls down in the middle of the ring when no one touches him and he has a heart attack.
Or he falls down, all of a sudden he doesn't move because his hip's broken. I mean, come on, man.
He's got, if anything, the hip's gonna be the one that holds up. I mean, it is remade, so.
I mean, he is with Michelle McCool, so maybe he's in great physical condition down. Well, you know what I'm saying?
If you follow her Instagram at all, damn, they are out there hiking and doing all kinds of crap together.
Well, hiking's one thing. Throwing yourself off the top of the rope.
Wrestling, but
so.
I don't know.
So we've talked about it again. We're going to see this soon. Let's get into that tag team, man. That tag team match was phenomenal, and I'm going to get a lot. No one can say no.
Match, I'm going to tell you the best thing about the tag team match.
Oh, I already know it. The Revival wasn't in it.
Dang.
Yes.
Yes.
Standing ovation. Standing ovation.
Because this happened, I honestly thought that they were going to give the belts to the Revival after what they've been doing time in and time out. And oh man, the fact that once they went to the back, I'm like, oh, it's over. And
okay. So I was thinking the same thing, just like, I'm going to give it to the Revival. And then you see it was like, we want a tag match for the Revival sketch. Well, what if they can't compete? I'm like, I know where this is going. Sure enough.
But now here's the beauty part of it. Remember how you mentioned earlier about not announcing stuff, not setting things up. This is what I guarantee you, no one could look me right now in the camera, and anybody on the YouTube channel where they're watching this can't sit there and say you knew by the end of the night that we were going to have new tag team champs and it was going to be Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler.
Agreed.
Are you freaking kidding me?
I was about to make the same point, but here's the thing: they obviously, but the way they did it was like, okay, we're going to make this happen. And it was part, you knew it was going to happen, but it was something you were behind, you wanted to happen. It's, when they're doing other foreshadowing, it's like, oh, come on, man, why are you going to do that for? But this was something that once you already know it's going to happen, it was like, yes, make this happen because of what it's going to do for this storyline. I am fully behind this happening. So yes, that I don't care if I knew the second that Ziggler was like, oh, okay, well, let's go take care of this. Slap Drew McIntyre on the chest and let's walk out of here. It was like, yes, we're getting new tag team champions. Yes, it's going to be these two guys. This is going to be fantastic.
It's a little interesting because when Drew McIntyre hit Raw, we all were talking about the fact that they are setting up this nice fatal four-way where it's going to be Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and who knows, probably Brock Lesnar if they thought they'd keep him. But now all of a sudden he's a tag team champ. Does this take him out of the title picture for a little bit?
No, I'll tell you why. Because you're not going to be the champion for much longer.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. How long you think he has it?
Until he loses it to Rollins and Dean Ambrose, and they have.
Thank you.
Titles.
Thank you.
So you think they're going to recycle it to the Shield?
We are going to see a horseman mentality right now.
Yep.
They already showed it by going heel and putting the entire heel stable out and destroying these three guys. It is completely the Shield versus the world. They have the WWE Universal Championship. They have the Intercontinental Championship. What more than to give them the tag team titles? So all three of them have belts, and they have all the belts on the Raw roster. And it truly is the Shield versus the world. Come make something happen. It's not going down. We run this program.
Yep.
Do they bring in a fourth Shield member? Do they bring anybody else into the fold?
I don't know if they bring in a fourth person in as far as a member of the Shield, but I think they bring a fourth person in as far as an ally.
Now,
I mean Finn Balor.
I don't see Finn Balor going that way.
I do.
I do.
The reason why is because he's the only other babyface that's as big a babyface on that roster, with the exception of the Shield members. And
well, I think they did
to anybody else, and he's already wrestled with Rollins, with Ambrose, and he's already filled in. You thought you were going to see like him helping with the Shield, and he's had some great matches tagging up with Roman Reigns, and he's had his storyline between Braun Strowman. So I think he can easily be that fourth member, not fourth member, but that fourth ally to the Shield.
Yep.
I hope that they take and turn Finn back into the monster. That was a great match when they brought him in as the demon, excuse me. To have him tag with the Shield, I get it, but it just doesn't go with this Finn for everyone kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's too, I don't want to say teamy or too whatever. It doesn't match with this Finn for everything kind of thing. The Balor Club for everyone. So I don't know.
Balor Club for everyone, or everyone's included, and then you have Rome or the Shield versus everyone. I mean, it can make a little different storyline, but I think that out of the entire roster, unless somebody comes out that nobody's expecting whatsoever, I think that Finn Balor fits in with those three guys. Especially wrestling style, he fits in perfectly with Rollins. Face wise, he fits in perfectly with them, and I think on the mic he's just as good, as Dean. Maybe not as good as Seth, but I think he's a great guy on the mic. But I think it just the four of them together. I think there could be some definitely damage done, and maybe this even puts it later to where sets it up for a turn on Balor, and he turns on one of the guys for their belts. You never know, but I think by bringing him into the mix, makes him relevant again and keeps him from falling into the abyss.
Yep,
I go with you on that one. Absolutely, I'll go with you. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting times on Raw. There's a lot of little small things too that you're starting to see with it as well. That you can start seeing that the Raw is trying to shake things up a little bit. You have the Dana Brooke separating from Apollo Worldwide. Excuse me, not Apollo. Titus Worldwide. Little small things that are starting to lead in other directions. So Raw is kind of like in a shake-up right now, if you want to call it that. They're starting to kind of twist it up a little bit, which is good because they were getting stale. Which means now we got to turn to SmackDown, which for other than a couple other matches, they've been stale as all hell. So hopefully they can start turning it. So when we go to SmackDown, some of the things we want to talk about, we were talking about earlier and stuff, I say let's just briefly touch on it because it started up the show. Daniel Bryan, Brie Bella, Miz and Maurice. Yeah, I see it. I see the little things here and there. The whole, hey, we're at the restaurant. Hey, we're going to go there. Hey, we're going to come back. I I'm looking forward to Hell in Cell get over with so they could really move on to the beef of this, which is Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. And I got to appreciate, we got to give Corey Graves some love here, man, because he's doing the perfect Jerry Lawler kind of like heel commentating, where he's just totally, backing up The Miz. Oh, it's the it kicks.
And then Maurice giving him props for it too. Like, yeah, he's like, I got you, kind of thing. Yeah.
So they've got that going on, but I really want this. I want this stuff taken. I want it out of the way, dude. I want this done.
It's like we said last week. Like, there's relevance to the story because of the bad blood between Miz and Bryan, because of the bad blood between Brie and Maurice. It makes the story relevant and it fuels the fire, and I think it's great.
But I'm going to throw this back out and say, hey, look, I'm great the Bellas are back or anything, but throw them right back into the limelight, and you could see just the obvious ring rust that's on Brie. Nikki was a little bit better, but she's not in this. And then, Maurice, she's going to be in the match. I'll be perfectly frank. I don't think it's not going to be much of Maurice and Brie because, A, Maurice hasn't wrestled for God knows how long. B, other than the fact she's given birth recently, but they also mentioned in the show she had that massive or that back surgery that prevented her from having natural to go to cesarean. How much is that going to mess with the actual match? Like, how much is she actually going to be able to wrestle? Everything that they've done so far has been like minor, like she's barely taken the bump or she's ran out.
True, and I think what it comes down to is the main reason why they had the two of them in here is so that they can give the win to Bryan. Progressive storyline for the fact that it's going to enhance the story that, yeah, he got the win, but he couldn't get the win without his wife. And he still hasn't beat The Miz one-on-one. And I think that's going to further that makes this an additional month added to this storyline rather than if you just didn't have that and you had Hell in a Cell, you had Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, Daniel Bryan wins, guess what? Storyline's over. I mean, really, what are we going to do? This progresses it to where Daniel Bryan can now win the next one, and then The Miz come back. Nope, we're having a rubber match because you already won. You won one, I won one, and now we're looking at Royal Rumble season, a Royal Rumble and into WrestleMania season. So I think this helps bridge that gap, kind of take away some of that long space of time we have, because on the SmackDown side, this is one of the two storylines that's going to carry us through the winter and into WrestleMania season. And I think that this is one of those where we're going to, so to speak, kind of we're going to go with it and acknowledge it, but it's kind of, we're just going to get past it first and then get the true story to hit and at full speed once it's over.
Now, I will say, because I know Mind Freak wants to jump on this because you can see him whenever that hand is in front of his mouth and he's in front of the camera, he's about ready to punch somebody.
We're talking about his boy, The Miz.
Yeah, I will say this though, man. I don't want Maurice going away. I think Miz is so much better with Maurice there. I think Miz.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, Miz as an individual, he can carry it, but it always seems like his persona, his mic skills, everything about the ring is better when he has people. Like when he had his the entourage, the Miztourage, yeah. And now, but Maurice brings out something different. It's the personal life. It's Maurice. I liked Maurice when she was a wrestler. I mean, first of all, the whole like when she does that smile and does a little wink. Yeah, enough said. Anyways,
it's no Mandy Rose.
Oh man, yeah, I concur, but she's still Anyways, and by the way, I don't know, I don't mean to jump off topic really quick, but you guys have seen The Miz and Mrs., right?
No, yeah. Come on now, come on.
So I'm going to tell you right now. One of the best parts of that show, and it's only 6, so just get to the last episode. The second to last episode is when they ditch your mom by mistake, and then they're talking about it, and he's all like, "Oh man, she had her hand cocked back and ready to go," and then Maurice goes, "Cocked back? What?" And she's like, "Yeah." She put her hand back and cocked it and was ready to hit me. He said, "Wait, did you say cock?" And then Miz goes, "Oh, okay, now we can grow up, kids." And then they go back to her, and she does the. It was so perfect.
Yeah, even on Total Divas, like their chemistry together, and even with her mom on Total Divas, that's why I'm interested in. I just haven't had time to watch it, but as far as a character goes, I can't stand the Miz's character one because he truly is that heel that you just want to hate. But if you take it away the character and take it away from WWE like live like wrestling programming, I love the Miz. What he does outside the ring is fantastic.
Oh yeah,
and his personality on Total Divas and the Miz and Mrs. I think it's great.
Okay, now I never watch. I don't watch Total Divas, so that's a whole different thing.
It starts in a week and a half.
But hey, let me tell you this, dude. When I saw Miz first coming to WWE, because I saw the original Tough Enough and everything like that, I thought that guy was a joke. I thought, or no, he came. He I know he's Real World, but his first intro was Tough Enough.
Oh yeah, the WWE.
That was yeah. So I thought he was a joke. I thought his character was a joke. I couldn't stand the guy. Awesome and stuff. But you know what? That dude is perseverance in a freaking nutshell, man. Like I can't believe it. The guy I hated so much back in the day because I thought he was just a waste of space. He was an MTV reject. He's just got on there because he was on the Real World. Dude, he's won me over the years. Like I'm looking forward to seeing him he will be first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh,
I'm throwing it out there.
Well,
it's amazing.
He's going to be
amazing.
The Intercontinental Champion winner of all time. You know they're going to give it to him again. You know he's going to surpass Chris Jericho, and that's just what's going to happen. He'll easily be look how long he's been in the organization. He hasn't gone back and forth. He's you know, if you look at John Cena, who's been in the WWE the entire time, you know, outside of like when he first started, you know, The Miz is a true built and grown up in the WWE. If you look at the WWE, with the exception of like The Rock and all those guys, you know, he's the first one that they really built up in their development system, like in front of the camera. You know, now we have NXT and they have FCW before that and the Performance Center, and they kind of showcase people. The Miz, Tough Enough all the way through. He's the only one that's still there and has been there, with the exception when he takes some time off to film, you know, WWE branded movies. He's
and don't forget, he was one of the NXT. He was one of the original judges. Daniel Bryant. This is where the whole thing comes from. It's amazing what that guy has done for the WWE without having the limelight. He wasn't the champ. He wasn't carrying the strap like the big strap. He wasn't sitting there and headlining every single WrestleMania like Cena or like Triple H. But throughout the years, he's always stayed relevant. And now he's gotten to a point where, dude, he should be headlining WrestleMania at this point. I think he should be. I think they should take Daniel Bryan and The Miz and headline WrestleMania if they run it the right way. Absolutely.
Headline WrestleMania. I think one of the co-headlines. But he's dead. I don't think Daniel Bryan and The Miz is like top of the marquee headline event for wrestling.
Man, you put this other conversation we're about to talk about mix into it, where you put that much anger and personal strife into it. I guarantee that would be a great headlining match. Could you imagine just Daniel Bryan or Miz going back and forth like total personal, like I said, what we're about to talk about here in a minute, which if you're watching this show right now, you know what we're about to jump to. Could you imagine that much toxicity? Like, that's what I expected this to be. If they could put that level up, hell yeah, that's the headlining, because that would be a phenomenal match. They're both great wrestlers. And mic skills. They're exactly what you can headline a WrestleMania for. If you could put it all together the right way, because ultimately, remember, headlining WrestleMania isn't just the match itself; it's the build up to it. It's what makes the headline match.
Question:
So,
when was the last time we had a WrestleMania main event where both guys used the exact same moveset? Has that ever been done?
Well, okay. First of all, the Miz doesn't do the exact set as Daniel Bryan. He just borrows some of his crap.
No. No. You're talking about the world famous it kicks, not the yes kicks here, my friend.
I don't see Daniel Bryan doing the clothesline in the corner. I don't see him doing the skull crushing finale.
So when you break that down, that's because Daniel Bryan.
He doesn't do the figure four. He doesn't do the figure four. I mean, it's part of the whole thing. He stole his persona. That's what his mat. But he does have. He
guys
have
in the main event who use the same moves. That's all I'm saying. It'd be no different than watching, you know, Goldberg and Roman Reigns or Rhino. You know, just going to come in there or Ryback.
We did watch Goldberg and freaking Brock Lesnar, didn't we?
Yeah, but they have two different moves. movesets.
What?
Yeah,
One
I get what you're
suplexes
saying.
and
I
one
get what you're
spears.
saying.
Exactly. So that's two different movesets.
Oh my gosh, dude! It
We're
only
talking about
lasted
exact
7
same
minutes.
Move on past this when they were going to hit.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
So-
talk about some fire, some heat,
Some straight fire, dude.
No, I'm not talking
Oh,
straight fire. I'm talking some fire between AJ Styles and Samoa Joe.
Yeah, no, I
Oh,
want to
that
jump to
one.
that. Yeah, I think that definitely goes next, and it is phenomenal.
My goodness. I told y'all last week. I confessed that I'm coming over to the dark side but my goodness, these promos that Joe is cutting, there's nothing better right now. I mean, it's going to continue. All the big storylines we're going to talk about SmackDown have one thing in common, and that one thing that's in common between all three of them is they are all personal. And the one between Joe and AJ has been fantastic.
Oh,
and for lack of words, phenomenal. It's just the way he calls her out and the way, Annie, I'm coming home. And I'm like, that's his daughter. Are you joking? Right now?
You should be thanking me because for the first time in 5 years, your daddy's home on a Tuesday.
They're probably asking mommy, why is Uncle
Like-
Joe a bad man? Like,
the way he's talking to his family, to his wife and his daughter, it reminds me of the way that like Taker used to talk to Vince about Stephanie. You know, it's just like, did he really just do that? Is he going there right now? It's crazy.
Oh yeah, or Randy Orton going to Triple H going to Randy Orton's place and blowing stuff up, man, with a hammer and stuff. I said this last week and I'm going to say it again, man. This is it right now. This is carrying SmackDown. This is the only reason why I like seeing AJ Styles as a champion, because they finally gave him somebody that actually is just straight heel. That will just that is evil in every sense of the word. Shinsuke was cheating. It was horrible. KO was a good one, but KO never had this nastiness to him. Like, this is straight, oh my gosh, I'm going to put the women and children in bed and go looking for freaking dinner. That's exactly what this is.
It's gone to a level of being sadistic, and it's
Yes.
crazy.
it is. And just to add more fuel to that fire, it's the fact that how long they've known each other, the fact that they know the family that well, the fact that they're able to do this and that they're going this far with it, it's amazing. Yeah.
Now, you know what I would love to see? As a true wrestling fan, some of the things I do appreciate are all the behind the scenes things we get to see nowadays. Like, we didn't get to see this when I was a kid. When people were bad guys, they were bad guys. They didn't have cable network, or they didn't have 24/7 WWE network. They didn't have all these things where people could follow these wrestlers outside. Like, you would hear about, man, I saw the Junkyard Dog at Denny's. That's all you pretty much heard. To see everything now, I would love to just be a fly in the wall when they have that conversation with AJ's family. Hey, look, guys, this is what we're going to do. Okay, let's check. Can you imagine the conversation you have with his daughter and say, hey, look, everything I'm about to say, trust me, Uncle Joe is not meaning this at all. We're playing.
Yeah.
Hey,
it goes to show. I mean, there's like times where like the Kingdom and everything. Like, is this real? Or it's not. Like when Ziggler and The Miz had their feud for the Intercontinental title. I'm like, dude, like this is good, but then like behind the scenes they're like best of friends. This is the Samoa Joe I wanted since day one. Like, when they got him in NXT, I got to see the fighting side of Samoa Joe, which was awesome. Ever since he's been moved up, he's just been, like we always talked about, like, why the hell is he getting a title match? Why is this? He's been gone for 6 months and everything. Dude, he's just gone full Saxton on everyone, bro. It's crazy, and it's awesome.
Right here legitimizes him getting the opportunity for a title match. And this right now, what he's doing, the work he's providing, I'm behind him getting the opportunity for that belt. Up to a month ago, 2 months ago, I was the biggest, the one going against it. I hate the title match.
I remember it.
Because there was nothing there to give him that validation that he deserves it. But what he's been doing since SummerSlam, my goodness, there's nobody in that roster who deserves it more than him. I mean, even though they've only had one match, it's like, give me more. I'm okay with it. Let's see this happen.
Now, by the way, if you guys don't believe Marty that he didn't like Samoa Joe, all you have to do is go check us.
I still don't like Samoa Joe. Let's get that straight.
All you got to do is go check us out on YouTube and watch one of our
here's the
prior
question.
channels.
I do want to ask this question, Marty. What if you're working at your store and Samoa Joe comes in to buy a bed from you? You still going to like him then?
I'm gonna put his ass to sleep. I'll make sure,
Yeah, man, this is
I have my AJ Styles socks somewhere in my desk drawer.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is a hot rivalry. I think this is, if you look over the last 30 plus years of rivalries, I think this has got to be probably one of the more personal ones since I almost want to go back to freaking Snuka and Piper or Bret Hart and Owen Hart. I mean, it's got that much toxicity to it that it's one of those ones where I don't care what happens. I think this thing's going to go for a long time. I will never get bored watching Samoa Joe calling out his family. In fact, I really hope that if he does win the belt and puts AJ the rest for a little bit, like he gets a break and stuff, that Samoa is just as a punk ass the entire time now.
Yeah,
that he calls everybody out.
What I like about this is the fact that we're seeing a different side of AJ that we haven't seen, really, to be honest, since he's been in the WWE. We've seen him where he's been the aggressor and the talker and kind of the heel, and well, what are we gonna do? Beat up John Cena. I mean, he's had some great feuds and matches since he came to the WWE, but we're seeing a different side of AJ Styles that we have not seen in the organization yet. And this is good. His aggression when he came out, on Tuesday night, and had Paige had to come out and everything like that. That wasn't an AJ that we've seen. And if we're gonna get a more vicious and aggressive AJ, my goodness, could AJ be any better than he already is? And I think this is what it does.
Now, Mind Freak, I'm going to ask you this question, and then Marty, you could answer it. Okay. Do you think this is the beginning of WWE finally taking the PG off? Do you think this is the beginning of them starting to try to put some more edge to the programming with everything that we are thinking is going to come to fruition soon? I mean, we've got the Mae Young Classic starting up, which means they're going to have some more ladies coming in and they're going to have their WWE Evolution pay-per-view. So they're evolving there. We're talking about getting NXT UK. There's talks about them, moving the Fox and then getting more time for SmackDown and then potentially opening up Is this the start of what we're hoping is going to happen? Is when they're going to take the PG reins off and make it a little bit more edgier? Maybe not 90s freaking Edge and Lita about to have freaking sex in the middle of the ring, but do you think this is the beginning of a little bit of an edge coming back to WWE?
Go ahead, Mind Freak.
That's a hard one to say. I think adding a little bit more edge to it, yes. Just because where everything's at, where it's going, and I think they're using this to kind of test it to see what they can push, what they can use, and how far they can kind of push it to it. Just because of how everything is now in this day and age, but I'm not getting into that. It'll be interesting to see how they plan this out, what they're what they're going to do, and how they do it. It all comes down to the execution of it, and if they can do it well or not.
Marty?
Yes, without a doubt. I mean, if you look at what's happened this last week, the entire heel faction and roster destroying the Shield, who everyone loves. So kids love the Shield, and you just watch them beat them up and destroy them, leave them bleeding in the middle of the floor. And then we get personal storyline between Daniel Bryan and The Miz. Then we get this storyline to AJ and Joe, and the fact he's calling out AJ's wife and daughter and going to that sadistic level, absolutely going to that non-PG, maybe closer to PG-13, maybe even exceeding past that. I don't think we're going to get rated R and Attitude Era again, but I think we're going to get closer to that. Maybe a little bit between ruthless aggression versus the Attitude Era, like that little transition of time between the two. And I think there's a reason for that. One, they know that the people want something a little bit more. That people are kind of over the gimmicky storyline. It's not as bad as the comic gimmicks of the 80s and the early 90s, but it's a gimmick storyline, and people don't want to see that anymore. They want to see wrestling. They want to see storyline that they can get behind and buy into. To go further, we are entering the last year of SmackDown on the USA Network and coming into that year where they are going to be on Fox. Now, when that lines up in October of next year, I don't know. They haven't released an exact time, and that will come later next year. But we are entering the 365 that leads up to that changeover. And I think we're going to see them trying to build up their storylines and get that attention that they need to bring the audience to Fox, to prove to them that this, billion-dollar acquisition is going to work for them and give them value and pay them off. But I think what it comes down to, above and beyond that, is that the WWE is starting to recognize that there's a bigger threat outside of WWE for wrestling and for wrestling fans to watch. And the fact that they are giving them that PG-13, even somewhat almost close to rated R watching out there, they need to up their ante because they are losing a lot of viewers, maybe not all the way, but their attention span is going other places. And what just happened this last week in Chicago, I think can really open their eyes to truly what can happen, and that there really is another big game in town that they need to watch out for. And I think that they need to bring up this little bit of aggression side to it, and which is why we're getting these personal and deep and really, aggressive storylines on SmackDown, because they're trying to build up their viewership and see if it works, because they need this to go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping they do start moving that edge. I hope not too far though. I do think, like I mentioned, Edge and Lita having sex in the middle of the ring, all that craziness that they were trying to do back in the '90s and push the limit, definitely is not needed. I think it was too gimmicky, but I think getting more personable, relatable storylines,
aggressive heels. I mean, just like, I'm going to decapitate you with this chair. And just let them leave your face laying in the floor in a bloody pool. Maybe not.
No, I know
pool,
now,
but that aggressive side that we haven't been getting.
Absolutely.
I'm going to cheer my face and I'm going to boo the heel, and I think we need that right now.
I mean, you can't even see it too. I mean, adding storylines are adding a little bit too much to the Edge. They're letting people, do a little bit more dangerous stunts. I mean, they gave Rollins a stop back, which one of the reasons they took it away was how dangerous it was too. So it's probably the direction we're going.
So we need to get the punt back now on Hell in a Cell.
Oh well, Randy needs the punt. The punt was amazing.
I missed the punt. I missed the punt so much.
Oh my gosh! I'm sure Mick Foley doesn't miss the punt. Okay, so we move on from AJ and Joe, which I know is hard to do because we could have pretty much did the entire show on this. We're going to move off to the tag team tournament really quick. Last week we saw the Bar win it, which I was bored out of my damn mind seeing them win another match like that. So this week we get another triple threat tag team match with the Usos, Rusev Day, and what's that?
Sanity.
Yeah, Sanity. And hey, lo and behold, man, they gave it to Rusev Day. Yeah, which I'm liking, man, because we mentioned this, I think it was 2 or 3 podcasts ago, that we were a little upset that Rusev Day or at the time, Aiden English and Rusev were kind of splitting up. They were doing this whole, hey, Aiden English was getting in the way all the time, and it almost seemed like they were going to push him out so Lana and Rusev could be back together as a whole. I think WWE saw the problem with that and fixed it, obviously, very fast. And now you've got Rusev Day pulling off the win in the triple threat match, to where now next week they're going to fight the Bar, and whoever wins that will be facing the champs for the belts down, I think, in Australia, correct?
No,
is it Hell in a Cell? Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, that's right, because they face him. Okay, so for me, first of all, the match was great. I think everything was good. Aiden English came out on fire, man. I think he's starting to get that niche again that he hasn't had since the Vaudevillains, to where he's becoming relevant again, other than singing on the mic. Rusev is not carrying it; he's actually putting his weight in there. I'm hoping they don't make Lana a freaking valet, though. They got to get her into the women's part of it. She can't just be going out there every day as Lana Day.
And I want to bring up a point where we're going with this one.
But yeah, so you got the Bar and Rusev Day fighting next week. So I want your predictions. Who do you guys think? Who do you think they're going to give it to? I know who I want to say, but I'm going to go to you guys.
And I know who I want to say too. It needs to go to Rusev Day because if you give it to the Bar, then you're just running a repeat of last year again with the Bar and the New Day. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it'd be a great match, but honestly, you need to freshen up the tag team division. Give it to Rusev Day. Let that build up some more with them, and bring in and utilize some more tag teams instead of 3.
Yeah, well, they only have 5, so I mean, at least that's what it seems like. They don't have a lot of tag teams. We were talking about like 3 months ago how SmackDown had the stronger tag team division, and all of a sudden they have like nothing.
Yeah.
Marty, what do you think, buddy?
I definitely think Rusev Day is winning next week. I don't think that they're going to make us see New Day Bar 25. I think we're going to see the new Rusev Day, and I really, really hope that they give them the tag team belts. And if they give Rusev the belt, Rusev and English the belts, look at our 2 tag teams. We have Rusev Day with the belts on one brand, and Bar, and if they keep it, pun intended. Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler with the belts on Raw. Two tag teams that are just 2 talents put together, not necessarily real 2 tag teams, even though they have become one, with the belts. And we're not getting the same people with these belts time in, time out. And I think we're going to see a lot of different storylines. I just looked at a moment ago just to make sure, because I could remember that New Day was there last year. New Day lost the belts at Hell in a Cell last year as well, and also the Usos. So it'd be interesting to see if they had them lose the belts again at Hell in a Cell. Again, this is pay-per-views and it's irrelevance or whatever. But I think that's kind of interesting that they lose the belts again back to Hell in a Cells. But I want New Day or Rusev Day to win these belts, and I think that they both need some kind of gold around their waist, and something to progress themselves both storyline, and then even try to go that route to where once they get these tag team belts, it elevates them to the next level to where English is going for the secondary belt, and Rusev is finally put into that main event. And I would love to eventually see Samoa Joe and Rusev going at it for that belt.
Well, now, but hear me out on this, because we just had a conversation about 20 minutes ago about one person winning a belt and then losing it literally, a month later with Roman Reigns. Doesn't this play in the same factor that you're going to allow Rusev Day to win the belts right after New Day just won them 2 weeks ago?
Hold on.
Here's
the thing. The Universal title was held for over a year and a half. So to get it over a year and a half and then switch out real quick, that's one thing. The New Day, and we've been saying this for months now, that the New Day winning the belts off the Bludgeon Brothers was to be and I don't care, it is straight up, they are a transitional champion. That's what it is. They got the belts from the Bludgeon Brothers, and they're going to be the ones that give the next champ. Exactly. They got the five time. But yeah, so I know we talked about how we're switching the belts around, but the tag team belts are something that have been switched off every so often, anyways. But the tag team belts also went over a year without, or was it almost 2 years without being switched either to the New Day. So it's yes, we talked about how we didn't want to switch it back and forth, but that was with a primary belt. I think the tag teams, we talked about how the New Day were going to win the belts in order to bring some life back into these belts, and I think they did that already. And with Rusev, and if you give the belts to Rusev and Aiden English, that I think that they could end up getting the biggest pop of the night.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, no, they're not going to get the biggest pop of the night, because the biggest pop of the night is going to go to the next storyline we're going to talk about. But they could get one of the biggest pops of the night by them winning those tag team belts, because I think everyone is behind Rusev Day.
Yeah.
Mind Freak, jump in on there. What were you going to say?
Oh, it was just like a little brief thing, because you brought up, Lana. We don't want Lana to fall into a ballet.
Lana's number one.
Lana is wood. Okay. I just find it interesting because we haven't seen her in a while. Asuka came out, even though it was a match over to Naomi's side, so kind of maybe seen something there. But also at the same time, you're kind of seeing a lot of the women kind of pair up. So Cross our fingers. Women tag titles at Evolution.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's my little plug there.
Yeah, we'll get into that. That's going to be 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to set everybody up.
Sure. So here, my 2 cents on this is, as much as I would love to see Rusev Day win, they need. And I'm not saying New Day needs to do another 2-year run, but they don't have a tag team division right now. They really don't. You have New Day, you have Rusev Day now. That's a newer tag team. You have the Usos, you have the Bludgeon Brothers, the Bar. I mean, those are pretty much the only relevant tag teams that we're talking about. Well, okay, so here's the thing. We have the club, but the club's not getting a push.
Right. And here's the thing. So, and to go with that, yes, the tag team division isn't as big as they were. But if we have Rusev and English as the title holders, now we're going to get all these other good teams coming after them for the belts, which are different storyline and matches that we've been seeing. If we keep the belts with New Day, it's a New Day versus the Bar, the New Day versus the Club, New Day versus the Usos, the same 3 matches we've been seeing for the last 3 years. And
yeah, where I come back on that is I'll sit there and say, yeah, I agree with you. For example, Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt holding on to the belts brought a lot of tag teams out. But then at the same time, the B team, which was everyone's favorite, had it for about a month and a half, maybe. And
they've had it longer than that. They've had it since like 4 months, 3 months.
Has it been 3 months? It doesn't seem like 3 months.
Summer.
I don't know. Anyways, the tag team division with the B team, the only thing good about was the promos that B team cut. The tag team division on the Raw side didn't really. I think we got more out of the tag team division when Bray Wyatt and Hardy was holding on to the belts. I thought there was a little bit more fire.
But also look at the storyline that they set up with it. That's one of the reasons why they lost it too.
Gotcha. So I mean, it's interesting to see next week Rusev Day versus the Bar. So I'm excited about seeing that. We'll talk about that a little bit next week. Let's go on to the big one. The big one. I can't believe Asuka's return. No, I'm just kidding. But it was nice. Hey, you know what, though? It was nice to see Asuka. She took some time off, and one of the things that was kind of nervous about Asuka with me is that I mentioned this before with, like, say, Kevin Owens. You can kind of see when someone runs too long, and you could see it with Asuka. I think she was getting worn out. You could see that she took not even that much time off. It looked like maybe a month and a half, 2 months. She comes back in. She's already in better shape, and she was already going like there was already that fire there. Yeah, she changed it up. So, but yeah, no, let's Flair and Becky Lynch. This could get monumental. I think this could.
All right. Joe and AJ is personal, and it's this ticket. It's great. This here, I think, is 10 times more personal because of everything that's coming out. And this interview promo that they did, it was fantastic.
I think it lacked a little bit of the AJ Joe, but you're all right. It was good. It is very good. And I think
well, of course it's going to lack a little bit. We don't have Becky out there saying, "Hey, Rick, I'm coming home." No.
Rick,
I mean, hey, who knows? We may end up getting a promo where Becky Lynch comes in. They're trying to make her go heel. We might get that promo where she comes out and says, hey, Charlotte, how about you go tell your dad maybe he should go back to the hospital or something like that. You know what? If they want a heel turn to happen, there's nothing that's stopping them.
Here's the thing. I'm glad you said that because after watching that, man, I didn't see Becky as the heel. I actually got more of the Charlotte was the heel.
Right.
That's my feeling on it.
That's because they're doing an audible because they realize that Becky cannot be the heel. Nobody's going to buy into it. If Becky becomes the heel, Becky becomes Stone Cold Steve Austin, and go ahead.
Well, no. I was going
to say, go for it, my freak. Go.
All right, fine. I was going to say it's not necessarily like Becky can't pull the heel off. It's the fact that you have the universe so behind Becky.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. You're not saying that that's not working because she can't do it. It's not working because nobody's buying it.
But wait a sec. What's so wrong about Becky Lynch being a Stone Cold?
There's nothing wrong with her being a Stone Cold.
Because here's the thing. I didn't see it at first. And the only reason why I didn't see it at first is because every
Because
time
we were
you see
telling you
Becky
it's
Lynch, she was just being Becky Lynch. Now, since this has all happened, her mic skills are different. Her persona is different. She is more evil on that mic. She does sound more gritty. She sounds like an Irish lass kicker.
She sounds amazing. Just saying.
It's yeah. But that's my point, though. I think they should.
Ass kicker.
Yeah, I think they should keep rolling with that. Like her whole her photo, like her little pre-match little thing where they show it's Becky Lynch. Dude, even her photo was badass. And that's the thing.
I'm not.
Why not?
When she's giving that, just like that aggressive. I'm not going to take shit from no one. I'm going to attack you, and has that stone cold face. I buy into Becky Lynch's aggressive face more than I buy into Ronda Rousey's aggressive face, and that's Ronda Rousey's real aggressive face, and it just makes you want to like. Did you put like
well, that's because she comes out smiling first. Which I wish she would really get rid of that shit.
I'm just saying, like that aggressive look of Becky Lynch.
Yeah,
I was like, dude,
it's natural. It comes natural. Natural. And it really does just scare the crap out of me.
I do believe this is getting levels of AJ and Joe without the personal, like, hey, attack of the family.
Yeah.
It's not like she hasn't done that before. So that's, and who knows, maybe they will come back and go after Rick, but it's definitely interesting. I like it.
We get, you look at the promo they had. I mean, it kind of started running towards, yes, I grew up in this business. Yes, you worked your way here. You were never second in the, to me, with the exception of being in the ring. Charlotte kind of going towards the route of, you had to earn your way by, wrestling in gymnasiums, and I was given this because I'm superior. If she goes that route of making her seem like the poor little girl who had to work her way to make it happen, trying to even earn her opportunity, then we easily get Becky Lynch turning and going full aggressive mode on Ric Flair and bringing him into the mix and turning and making that just a crazy storyline.
Well, here's the funny thing. As you were thinking that, and as you mentioned the Stone Cold, when I watched the promo, when I'm listening to Charlotte, I'm hearing Ric Flair. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing that. And and I'm glad she's embracing it. I hated the fact that people were giving her crap about the fact that she is Ric Flair's daughter and that she came out with the robes and stuff. Dude,
so here's the thing.
Why hate?
No, there's a reason to hate that. There's the fact that she came out and said, I don't need my father's name. I'm not Ric Flair. I don't need Ric Flair to make my name for myself. I'm going to make it myself. And what does she do? She comes out walking like Rick, talking like Rick, motto like Rick, and then wearing the same robes and moves as Rick. So
but let me throw.
Need Ric Flair's name or Ric Flair to get you over, then why the hell are you coming out? Why don't you just come out?
Hold on a sec. She didn't start using that until she got pulled up to the show. Her NXT run, where she made her name, she did not use any of that. Huh?
NXT is irrelevant on the main roster. That's like saying, Seth Rollins run as the NXT champion. Who cares?
You know what? NXT, when Seth Rollins first was in there and all these other guys were irrelevant, absolutely. You're 100%. Not anymore.
So that was the same time.
No. NXT now. No, Seth Rollins was not in NXT when Charlotte Flair came around.
Rick or Seth Rollins got pulled up right around the same time that Charlotte was wrecked.
Which was about the same time that Triple H. Which was the same time Triple H took over after Dusty.
So Charlotte was on NXT the same run as Finn Balor. We'll say that.
Okay, I'll go with that. Okay. But here's the thing, though, and that's my point. NXT is not irrelevant anymore.
I'm not saying it's irrelevant. I'm saying that what she did back then is
irrelevant now.
It's no different than us talking about Roman Reigns' team runs on at Florida Championship Wrestling, or talking about John Cena wrestling Ohio Valley as the protege or whatever it was called at that time.
So hold on a second.
It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna fight you on this one because if NXT was irrelevant, why are we talking about the Four Horsemen?
I'm not saying
why are we talking about
it now. I'm talking about what it was then. I'm talking about her making her name for herself as Charlotte.
She made her name for herself.
I understand that, but since she's been on the main roster, it's been Charlotte Flair. It's been Ric Flair's daughter. When she came into the main roster, who was by her side? Ric Flair.
But once again, I'm going to fight you on it and say that she made an individual name for herself in NXT.
I'm not saying she didn't. I'm saying that when she came to the main roster, what she made for herself on NXT was now null and void because she was coming up with the Ric Flair brand. And then she had Ric Flair by her side because what happened a month after she came to the main roster, she beat Nikki Bella for the championship. Who was there? Ric Flair. What happened right after that? She turned on Ric Flair and said she didn't need his name anymore. And what happened? She still used his name for the next 2.5 years. So what I'm saying is that the name she made herself on NXT is irrelevant because of the name she's been using since she became the main roster talent. And that has been Ric Flair the entire time.
The only difference between her and NXT and where she is now is that the Flair persona gave her the mic skills, gave her the ambiance around it. Her in-ring skills are still as solid as ever, if not better.
Hold on. I'm not talking about skill set. I'm not talking about moveset. I'm not talking about talent. I'm talking about her persona. What she is right now on the main roster, the day she got drafted in the main roster, is she been the character that she built on NXT, or has she been the character that has been because of Ric Flair?
The character that has been because of Ric Flair.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that her talent isn't because of what she did at NXT. I agree that that's where that talent comes from. I'm saying that the persona she's carried since day one has not been the talent or the character and persona she built for herself on NXT. So,
hey, Marty, are you reffing the Battle of the Beards right now, dude? I think that's what's going on, dude.
Between who?
My freak's over there. He's just like sitting there going, yeah, Battle of the Beards. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so now I will digress and go.
Yeah, go for it.
The Charlotte and Becky Lynch and just getting into a heated personal, or even further personal. I think we have one more week before Hell in a Cell. I think this next week is when we essentially, go back to say it when the claws come out, because I think this next promo between the two of them is going to be amazing. That leads to the Hell in a Cell match.
Now, do they make the match Hell in a Cell?
I think they do. I think
they should.
They have to. I mean, Charlotte's already done it.
They need to do it. They need to do it.
Be a Hell in a Cell match.
They need to do it.
We have 2 Hell in a Cell matches right now, right? We have Jeff.
And
we have Braun and Roman.
What's the first one again?
Jeff and Randy, and then Braun and Roman.
So, let me throw this out there. Do you think the AJ and Samoa Joe is going to be a Hell in a Cell match?
I don't think we get 4 Hell in a Cell match. I think we get those 2, and then we do get Becky and Charlotte, because I think we got to have a women's Hell in a Cell match.
You got to keep things moving for Evolution.
Right.
Absolutely. Next week is going to be all fire. Next week, we're going to talk about Hell in a Cell, by the way. So when you're watching this, guys, tune in. Definitely check out our show next week, as it will be the Hell in a Show preview. We'll also tap in a little bit into the Mae Young Classic. We want to get that first round going through and see some of the new talent coming in. I do think that when Hell Cell comes around, I think Becky Lynch and Charlotte is going to probably be the number 1 match of the night. I really do.
I don't know about number 1, because I think there's going to be a pretty close tie between number 1 match between AJ and Joe and Becky and Charlotte. I think those matches
the only reason why I say match is it's going to be a match. AJ and Joe, that's going to be a straight brawl. That's what it is.
I think that we're going to get some kind of stipulation for the AJ and Joe match to prevent what happened at SummerSlam. And I'm not saying full blown hardcore, just cheating nonstop, but I think outside the ring aggression, put through a table, beat him up through the jumbotron, whatever it may be. But we're going to get a great wrestling match between the two of them. But we're going to get if we get Becky and Charlotte in a Hell in a Cell match, we need that additional stipulation for Joe and AJ to bring the elevation at the same level of match. I think they're both going to be great matches.
Yeah. So let's roll on here. We're almost done for our show tonight and everything. I wanted to tap into NXT 205 this week. Is the same stuff that we've been seeing for the last 2 months. It's Lucha House Party, and I'm just tired of it. So we're just going to skip that. I think the only thing I saw relevant come out of 205 was the fact that the general manager is now the manager of AOP. I don't understand it.
I didn't want to talk about that.
Yeah. So. NXT though is it's interesting watching the show that as I have been for a while now and stuff. The headline match was awesome. You have Velveteen Dream versus Johnny Gargano, And let me tell you, Johnny Gargano, for everything that people, he puts on hella matches every single time. And Velveteen Dream just stepped up to the challenge, pulled out the win against Johnny Gargano. But you also saw what's happening with Johnny Gargano. They are trying to turn him into almost like another Ciampa. Like he's gotten to that point where he's just starting to freak out, even to a point where when the match was done, if you watched it, actually during the match, you got Velveteen Dream calling him Johnny Failure, saying it loud and proud. Everyone in the audience hears it. He goes to rush him. He hits him with the freaking Velveteen Dream drop and wins the match. He walks out of the stage. Everyone's cheering for Velveteen. Johnny Gargano sitting there, and you're getting a combination of Johnny wrestling, and then right after that you hear Johnny Failure, and he's walking out of the ring, and you could see the mind twisting.
And he's been kind of twisting that direction ever since Takeover. So here's my thoughts on it. I mean, we've seen this thing happen with other people on the main roster. Johnny just can't get the best of Ciampa. It's not happening. Ciampa has his number. Ciampa's just destroying him at all costs every time. If we're going to get this somewhat of not a heel turn, but a persona character change that drastic in Johnny Gargano, do you think that this could be essentially a storyline that turns from best friends, they became enemies, that found their path back to each other again, and it'd be the storyline that I needed you to find this aggression, I needed you to find who your inner person really was. And now you found your aggression. Now we can be the friends we're meant to be, and go along that route. And then you get them to become the main roster as this total heel tag team that just destroys everybody, and brings that heat that they've built up over NXT and brings it up with them. Do you think that's a possibility?
I see it. I can see it.
Dr. Marty Psychiatrist there, by the way. That was good stuff.
Yeah, it was. I can definitely see that happening. The storyline that they have, it gets back to, I mean, going all the way back to the Chicago Street Fight. It's personal. With him throwing his ring out into the audience or into the universe and all that stuff, and then just how personal that it can get between both of them. I can see something like that happening, and you notice, and it goes back to the overall theme of what we've been noticing. A lot of stuff, especially with SmackDown, it's personal. We're pushing that boundaries kind of thing to it.
I was about to say that, man. Did you notice that with all the three main shows? Let's call it the three shows. You got Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Those are three main guys right now.
Yeah.
Their best matches right now all have personal ties. And I don't know if that's Triple H tying into it. I don't know. Because one thing I have noticed is that Triple H is always, since he's taken over NXT, he's always put that personal into it. He's always made something happen with it. And Johnny Gargano and Ciampa are the fruition of what he's planted. Has he done enough in NXT to where now that's starting to influence SmackDown and Raw, that they're like, hey, dude, why aren't we following this? Why aren't we trying to get back to this? Because it's obviously working. And because once again, I do feel that when you watch an NXT pay-per-view, I get it. There's not as many matches and everything, but when you watch it, you just see there's more passion. There's more fire coming out of their matches, and there's more coming back from the fans than you get with the standard pay-per-view shows. So maybe these guys are going to try to start tapping because they need to do something. You're right. Marty, earlier you said there's something else out there that we're hopefully going to cap up here in a second, that it's driving WWE to really start looking and say, okay, where are we getting our best success? And right now the best success is out of NXT.
Right, and to go along with that, I mean, we always see Triple H, and we always say that he's obviously he's the godfather, so to speak, of NXT and what's kind of we're seeing in the rosters coming up. But he's not the only one behind it. If you look at who else is behind NXT and the storylines, one of the other names is Brian James. He's behind it. He's right there with Triple H. And if you don't know who Brian James is, that's the Road Dogg Jesse James.
Yep.
And when you look at who he is, he's one of Hunter's, best friends. He's been by Hunter's side for the last 20 plus years as a tag team, as a wrestler for New Age Outlaws and DX. But they have that personal bond. and they see. If you look, they see what's going on out there in the universe, so to speak. They know what's going on out there. They know what the biggest storylines in the world of wrestling, not WWE, are driven by personal issues and personal storylines. Jericho, Omega, Cody Rhodes, Nick Aldis. It doesn't matter. All these Cody and Kenny Omega. It doesn't matter. All these major storylines that are going across the universe in wrestling are driven by personal reactions and stories. They see what's going on out there. They see their biggest competition, and they are bringing this into NXT and trying to implement it in the WWE main roster. And I think that is something that yes, they are noticing it. They are taking that into consideration, and they're getting us a better product for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that was NXT in a wrap. I mean, other than that, the only other thing we could really talk about, and that was the continuance of Shayna Baszler versus Kari Singh, which I'm waiting for her, Shayna Baszler, to move on so they could bring up the 4 horsewomen and start getting that rivalry going.
The rest of the other two, they're getting matches now. They've been fighting. They've been doing other shows and Ring of NXT shows. So
they're in the shadows.
They're starting to get their ring rust broken in and trying to earn their stripes, so to speak. So we may not be very far from seeing it. I would imagine that we're going to see them earliest at Evolution, because they're going to have to bring the women from NXT. So I think that we'll see them.
I think that might play into the Ronda Rousey fight, but that's just me. All right.
I think
so Marty, can you fill us in a little bit as one of the last things we get into? Can you fill us in a little bit on how All In went?
Oh yeah.
I was in the hills, so I couldn't see it.
I will tell you this: if you want to watch a wrestling match or wrestling pay-per-view that you are completely satisfied with, you have nothing you're upset or unhappy about, or outcome you don't like, and just storylines, wrestling, spots, just matches in general, All In is something you need to put at the top of your bucket list before Monday Night Raw, between SmackDown, NXT. I would put it as far as Mae Young Classic. Anything WWE's putting out right now, you need to find a way to watch the All In that was put on by Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks. They sold out 10,000 tickets in 30 minutes for this match. And not only that, but when they posted the other day, they had over 11,000 people in attendance for this card. Man, there was some great every match. There was only one thing, and if you know who Joey Ryan is, his gimmick is probably he came out, had a little confrontation with Hangman Page. But other than that, that was probably like the lowest part of the entire card. And it wasn't even part of the match. It was an aftercursor to the match that Hangman Page had and won. I believe there's 10 matches, great matches. I'll just hit, Stephen Amell, who we've seen in WWE with Stardust, was Cody Rhodes. So
they're good friends outside the ring.
Not only that, Stephen Amell is a member of the Bullet Club. If you didn't know that, he's an actual member of the Bullet Club. So he was there. He fought against Christopher Daniels, who's a member of the SoCal Uncensored, who's from right here in Southern California.
What?
He put on a great match for someone you would not expect to be in a match. When he fought, Stardust, I thought that was a pretty decent match for somebody coming out of nowhere. And now it's he has some experience, and he put on a great match. But the big matches, if you want to see a women's match, we're talking about Charlotte and Becky and Ronda and all these other, women on this roster. If you want to see a hardcore, badass women's match, watch this women's match. Tessa Blanchard. We got Chelsea Green, Madison Rayne, Britt Baker. There was some great, these women, phenomenal and fantastic match. It was balls to the walls, rope to rope, corner to corner, and they were fighting the entire time. It was a great outcome. Definitely need a match to watch. Kenny Omega does what Kenny Omega does. Had a great match against Pentagon Jr. And not only this, the big thing coming out of the Omega match is that after the match, Omega won. We had a surprise. The lights went out. The entire arena went black, and which is something to think of. These guys put on the show. What's going to happen? Any hiccups? And the arena goes black. Next thing you know, lights come on. There is Pentagon in the middle of the ring, and just turns and just beats up and takes out Kenny Omega. Well, you can tell halfway through it's not Pentagon anymore. Masculine reveals. Who do we have? Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho showed up to Chicago. It was at All In. First time he's fought or been at a promotion on the U.S. soil outside the WWE since '99. It was great seeing Chris Jericho there. And the last thing he says to them is, Kenny Omega, I'll see you at the Jericho Cruise. Boom, walks out of the ring. And I mean, we're going to get, Alpha Club versus Bullet Club, which is going to be, got Jericho teamed up with the Young Bucks against Cody and Kenny Omega. And I can't remember if he's either team of Marty Scurll or Hangman Page and the third guy. But that's going to be a great match. Hopefully they find a way to get that released too, so that we can see it. For those of us who aren't pleasured enough to go to on that cruise. Jay Lethal does what Jay Lethal does. If you guys like what Ricochet does, Jay Lethal is a great character.
Man, he's been around forever, man. Jay Lethal, dude. He's one of the few guys that I do know outside of WWE, and his matches are, oh man, they're incredible, man. He's a phenomenal wrestler. It's one of those ones I wish WWE would have got a long time ago, because he would have made things happen.
Yeah. So he comes out. If you don't know, for those of you listening, if you don't know who Jay Lethal does or his gimmick or what he does, he's got that Randy Savage persona. He's the, he does the machismo and, oh yeah, he does it all. And he fought Flip Gordon, who won a battle royal earlier tonight so they could fight for the Ring of Honor championship. Flip Gordon comes out with Brandy Rhodes, and we get a whole Jay Lethal as, like the Randy Savage persona, and he's looking at Brandy Rhodes as Miss Elizabeth, and it was fantastic. Back and forth. It was a great match. Kushida Okada versus Marty Scurll. Okada always puts on great matches. Marty Scurll is one of my favorite wrestlers. He's, as far as the New Japan and their weight classes, Okada's a heavyweight. Marty Scurll is a junior heavyweight, so he's not really, if you go to New Japan and watch New Japan, they don't really ever cross weight classes, no matter how big of a name you might be. So seeing them fight each other was great. Scurll put on a great match. Okada got the win. To end the card was the Golden Elite, which is the Young Bucks and Kota Ibushi, versus Rey Mysterio, Bandito, Rey Fenix, which Young Bucks obviously going to be great wrestlers, and Ibushi is a fantastic wrestler. But obviously Rey Mysterio, Bandito, Rey Fenix, they got that luchador wrestling mentality, and it was a great match to end out the card. Bucks, the Golden Elite, so the Bucks and Ibushi got the win, but it's a fantastic match. But the biggest match of the night, and I like that they had it almost mid card, because it didn't take away from the Bucks being the main event. Even though his name was on the name of everything because he put it together. Cody versus Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis is the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, and ever since he's had it, I believe, since December. But ever since Billy Corgan's brought the NWA out of the mist and basically became their Phoenix and brought him back to life, Aldis has been a fantastic champion. But Cody Rhodes fought this match, great spots. Both guys had, DDP was there helping out Cody Rhodes, and some great spots. But then it comes down to it. You got the entire arena, 11,000 people are cheering for Cody. 11,000 people are booing for Nick Aldis. I don't remember the last time I saw a true, we hate this guy, we love this guy. And it could be because, one, it was a Bullet Club branded a pay-per-view. It was All In, so it was put on by Cody Rhodes, or the fact that it was Cody going for the NWA World Championship. Cody Rhodes won. And Cody Rhodes is the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion, wearing the same strap that his dad wore 30-plus years ago. The arena after that and watching Cody get that belt was amazing. Just the lineage, the history of the NWA title. I mean, I'm not the world's most known wrestling fan or have the most extensive history of wrestling, but as far as I know, the WWE World's Heavyweight or NWA World's Heavyweight Championship is probably one of the oldest, if not the oldest, championship belt, because a belt that was ran and a belt that was defended across the territories before the WWE took over, and the fact that he's got a belt that his dad carried, and there's no story that writes better than that. It was just an amazing card.
Yeah.
You get the opportunity, the four fatal four-way women's match, Cody versus Aldis, Omega Pentagon, Okada Scroll. Definitely 3 or 4 matches. You should definitely try YouTube or take a look at it. Even go to New Japan. They usually post, a free match or two, so you can take a look at it. But it's an awesome card. It was satisfied, happy from start to finish. You got Ring of Honor, New Japan, TNA, Independence. You got all these guys coming in and putting this card together. It's fantastic. New Japan going to be here in a couple weeks, end of September, going on a match in Long Beach. I know Cody Rhodes is fighting, I want to say Punishment Martinez for the was it Punishment? I don't know. I can't remember his Punishment. He is fighting for a Ring of Honor title though at the Long Beach match. So it's a Sunday night. So I get up in time, so I might have to shoot over to that point. I'm going to be working 20 minutes from there, so I might have to go watch Cody with the NWA title fight for a Ring of Honor title. But it's a New Japan card, so you're going to see all the names there. So that's going to be interesting. But no, All In, great match. Probably one of the best pay-per-views I've ever watched.
Awesome. Thanks for the heads up on that. Like I said, I was up in the mountain, so I didn't get to see it. So I think we're going to call the show on that one, man. You can't finish it better than that. The flowing beard of Marty telling us all in. It's like going to bed and dreaming of the beard flowing. Hey, Marty, I know we got it on there. Is there anywhere else we could follow you other than what we see on the screen there? That's it?
You can get me on that screen, Marty_Vasquez 87.
That's what we like about Marty. He keeps it simple.
Damn right.
Yeah. Mind Freak, where can we follow you, sir?
Follow me on twitch.tv/BTV Mindfreak. Up on the screen, Twitter at MindFreakMLG, and on Instagram at Justin_Mindfreak.
So right before he started talking, you saw his hands start doing this. I get to talk, yay!
I know, I'm starting to fall asleep over here. It's
man, yeah, he's in the bat cave. Yeah, that's Marty calling from his mom's cellar right there.
Mind Freak, not Marty.
Oh, Mind Freak, that's right. Good God, man. The tiredness. Yeah, you can follow Masonic Vader, but obviously, like I tell you guys every week, follow Malice Smack Talk. You see us right there. I think I'm pointing in the right spot there. Follow all those there. Also follow us Malice-Corp. They are our parent hosts. They're the ones that let us do this time here. They're our producer Wes Mess 5150. Phenomenal guy. He helps out in the background and stuff. That's why sometimes you'll see us laughing because he'll say something. We'll have to on the chat. We'll laugh. But thank you very much, Malice Corp, for letting us hosting us tonight. We appreciate everyone that's watching. Now, before we go, we're going to give you an assignment to do for us. So next week, we're going to do our Hell in a Cell preview match. And, of course, I have to own up to the bet I lost in the last one. So for you people who haven't watched it, you might want to go back and watch that show. Other than that, you'll see the bet coming up on the next cast. But what we want you guys to do is on the YouTube channel down below or where you can find us, put in the comments what should happen. Okay, so what we mean by that is that we're going to pick one of the main matches, and then we're going to call who's going to win it. And whoever gets that call, whoever messes up, man, there's something that's going to happen. I called that Mella was going to win the match at the last pay-per-view. She did not. So I'll be sporting some sweet-ass Mella gear next week. So yeah, go in the comments. Please let us know what do you think the person who loses has to do on the following cast. Put that in the comments below. Please give us 5 stars if you can. Let other people know on Twitter and Facebook and whatnot about us. We appreciate everyone here. We got to get going because Mind Freak is about to pass out over there. He's scratching his face and going in all directions. So we appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. And we're here for you next week, same time, which is random because that's how we roll. So as we always like to finish here on Smack Talk, give us that 1, 2, 3. It's a high quality bell.